Stage 3 of the Volta Valenciana, the queen stage of this race, 155 k's from Alicante to Antenas del Maigmo. There is the profile, a very, very hilly parkour, finishing up a fearsomely steep gravel climb. And you can see stage 3 of this race available in full on demand on GCN+. A breakaway of 11 riders dominated the day, extending their lead to around 4 minutes. But coming into the final 30 kilometres, it was the team of a race leader Remco Evenepoel, Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl, who pursued behind. The lead continued to crumble, and as did the breakaway out in front, under the impetus of this man on your screen. Jan Tratnik of Bahrain Victorious was exceptionally strong, using his climbing and time trialling prowess to devastating effect, and eventually, on the penultimate climb of the day, going solo and dropping Attila Volta of Groupama FDJ in the process. With 15 k's to go, he crested this climb to plummet down towards the final brutal ascent to the finish line. Meanwhile, there were a few flurries of activity, Movistar getting in with the chase as well, and then it was on to the final slopes of the climb with a very slender lead of a minute, and the first rider to attack from the remnants of the peloton was the veteran Alejandro Valverde. Attila Volta was eventually brought to heel after a brave effort. The bunch at this point reduced to walking pace, as was this man out in front with only 13 seconds with 3 kilometres to go. Tratnik was fighting the gradient with every sinew of his body. He was eventually caught by a flying Jakob Fuglsang, leading a fragmented front group onto the Storato, onto the gravel roads with 2.5 kilometres to go. Fuglsang nearly came to grief on a hairpin bend, having to dab his toe, thankfully re-engaged and was back in the mix. And with 1,600 metres to go, it was the rider sitting in second place on general classification who stamped his authority on the race, moving clear on the gravel section, and with a kilometre to go, opening up a handsome lead, in the process dropping the race leader Remco Evenepoel, who was struggling on the steep slopes. But it was to be this man who was going to take his first win of the year, and his first for his team Bora Hansgrohe. Alexander Vlasov takes the stage and rides himself in to the yellow jersey. A wonderful ride by Rodriguez there in second. Enric Mas in third place there for Movistar. The riders continued to cross the line. Pello Bilbao there with the veteran Alejandro Valverde. Fuglsang too. Good ride by him. Giulio Ciccone also crossing the line there for Trek Segafredo. And finally, a brave performance by Remco Evenepoel, crosses the line 40 seconds adrift, conceding the yellow jersey. All smiles for Alexander Vlasov, a big win, and clearly the strongest rider on these brutally steep slopes today. He'll go into stage 4 as the leader of this race. So Vlasov takes the stage ahead of Rodriguez and Mas, Bilbao, Valverde, Fuglsang, Ciccone, Evenepoel, Leon Sanchez, David de la Cruz, rounding out the top 10. So a visit to the podium for the Russian, who looked exceptionally strong. He'll be very pleased with his efforts today atop this new iconic climb. So Vlasov leads the rankings ahead of Evenepoel, Carlos Rodriguez in third, Mas in fourth, then we have Valverde, Fuglsang, Luis Leon Sanchez, Ciccone, Sivakov, and rounding out the top 10, David de la Cruz. Make sure you join us over on GCN Plus tomorrow for live coverage of the fourth stage from 1500 hours GMT.